Don't do this. Don't do this to me. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kaylee and I'm back with some more Apothecary Diaries. I was really missing this show last week, especially with the way the last episode ended off. I just feel like we were getting so much momentum with Jinshi finding Maomao and just all of these things that were put into motion. And now we're heading into the last 2 episodes of the season, which makes me so sad. And I'm just patiently waiting for a season 3 announcement because I need it. Like, I need air to breathe. So where we left off, Jinshi found Maomao in the stronghold. Obviously, Maomao has something for Shisui that she needs to do, and we don't really know what that is. It seems like it was an unspoken understanding between Maomao and Shisui. At first, I thought it might have something to do with the kids and using the resurrection medication to bring them back to life, but ultimately, they have been transported out of the room where they were poisoned, and Lee Haku was really helpful in assuring Maomao that while they couldn't give them like a formal funeral, they could at least make sure they had a dignified burial. So it's still undetermined what Maomao needs to do for Shisui. Shisui also has something she is planning to do as well. It seems like she is trying to undermine the plans that Shenmei had put in place, which we love. She definitely confronted her father about being essentially like a coward who doesn't take responsibility, which is very accurate. So I hope that he does the right thing, helps her, whatever that plan might be between Shisui, Suide, and now Shisho. I'm very interested to find out. I'm really hoping that we don't see the end of Shisui's character. We found out a lot of information about her backstory that I think helped create some empathy for that character. Despite everything that Maomao has been through this season, it feels like Shisui's always had either no option but to go along with Shenmei's plans, or at least now is trying to do something to undermine them. It does really seem like it was always in Shisui's plan to poison the children, at least that part of the plan. And so she probably always knew that they couldn't win. I think she even said that, right, when she approached and confronted Shisho and Shenmei. And so that's probably why they didn't want Kyo to go there in the first place, to the stronghold. And so I wonder if Maomao has any level of regret or guilt or responsibility in herself for that and for being kind of responsible for getting him dragged there in the first place. If you want to stick around, go ahead and hit subscribe. The uncut version of this reaction will be over on Patreon, so I'll put that link in the description box below if you want to check that out. And now let's jump into the episode.
この笛の音、李白か。マーマーを砦の外へ連れ出したんだな。バセ、あまり気を張るな。では、私を先に行かせてください。待て、下がれ。フェイファー、行くぞ。くそ。国のためだと言われた。私たちはただ国のために。お優しいことですな。
Oh, okay.
どうせ処刑台に登るなら随分と悠長な物言いだな、師匠。主上の勅命だ。横領、反逆の罪で拘束する。命が下っているのは分かっていますよ。
Oh
もう
man.
したか、火種もないのに。せろ。
Oh my god.
情けないな。
That was nuts that Jinshi just stopped that bullet with his sword. Like, in the moment, figured out what was going on and stopped it with his sword.
最新型だ。火種がなくても発砲できる。
ああ、ご存知でしたな。
実際に襲われた。
これで終わりか。もう少し時間が。
I'm very curious to know what Shisui's plan is,
でも変わらぬ。
because
なんだ。
I don't know if that was part of
ま
it.
るで用意されたセリフを読んでいる。
Oh, man. Oh. I can't tell. Is that Suire's mom or is that just Shenmei back in the day? I'm assuming it's Suire's mom.
翔という男の舞台を見ているような気分だ。
Okay, so what is this plan?
あっけないと言えばあっけない。そんな最後だった。
シェンメイとローランは奥の部屋にいるわ。
Oh no.
ここは頼む。
I am quite stressed because I just don't know as much as we've seen of Shisui, and like I don't think she's a bad person, but I also don't know how she really feels about this whole situation. I would assume she knows that the hairpin Mama had is given to her by Jinshi, and so I would hope that harming him would not be part of her plan, but I just can't fully trust her. I don't know. I have to know the plan first. Why is he going alone?
どうだ。
ごきげんよう。好きのついてきてはいただけないでしょうか。
No.
断ると言ったら。
だから、でも、私からこれを奪うくらい簡単なことではないでしょう。
Okay, that might be a fair point, although I'm just a little bit stressed about this whole thing to begin
水
with.
霊姉様、もうひどいことはされていませんか。
大胆な女だと思っていたが。
ローラン、まさかその男は。
お母様の望みを叶えるためについてきてもらいました。
Oh?
この姿によく似たお方を。
No. This is gonna like mentally kind of fuck with Jinshi.
ずっと美しいことに嫉妬していたのでしょう
Late
か。
Emperor comparisons.
それとも自分よりずっと幼い次女を選んだか。上級妃であったお母様のネアに一度も来なかったの。
ローラン。
少し冗談が過ぎましたね。
Oh my goodness.
さて、女帝はいつまでも女に興味を見せぬ息子にしびれを切らし、高級にどんどん美女を送り込みました。
シェンメイ、
Oh, it was Shenmei.
高級に入るっ
Okay.
て本当なのか。
上級妃としてぜひにと。
いずれ私と。
Oh.
その話は白紙ね。こんな北の地の領主の妻で。
Oh
思ってたまるも
no.
のですか。
That's so sad.
シェンメイ、
表向きの話だったのです。
表向き。何を言っているの、ローラン。
I'm happy this is happening because I hate Shenmei and I love that Lolon is like directly confronting and just making her suffer in what might be her last moments. So
伏せていたおじい様が呪詛のように漏らしていましたよ。娘を人質に取られては何もできぬと。交換の娘を妃と称して人質に取ることはよくあることでしょう。
oh my goodness. She was
お
bamboozled,
母様のことを一度は
led
諦めました。
astray.
人士様、高級がこれだけ大きくなった理由をご存知ですか。
師匠が女帝をそそのかしたと話に聞く。
Oh?
奴隷交易に変わる。
奴隷交易。
花町の妓女と似た扱いだと聞きました。しかし他国に売られた奴隷はその限りではありません。
Oh my god.
娘を人質に取られた死の一族は家業であった奴隷交易を縮小せざるを得ませんでした。
残った奴隷たちの行く先として高級を利用してはいかがですか。若い娘は下女や女官に、男は宦官として入れるの。誰にとっても益になる話かと。
Is it?
お父様は女帝の信
Is it
頼
a
を得
win?
ることにより死の一族の信用と人質のお母様を取り戻そうとしてい
How
ま
does
す。
she know all this information?
こんなになるくらい
She's
な
so
ら
smart.
あの時逃げ出していればよかったの。
抜け道を作った。シェンメイ、私と逃げないか。
だからの逃走は重罪よ。
He was always just in love with her, which is
私は君を
extra
諦められ
sad
なか
now
った。
given the way that she
君以外
turned
の
out.
妻に迎えることもできずに。
あの方が次女の逮捕に先を越された上級妃。
Oh
アンシ
god.
様より先に受断したのにね。
ふざけないで。この私に恥をかいたまま逃げろというの。
違う。
帰れ。
Oh no.
失礼します。
それは鳳凰のかんざし。
これを身につけられる者はキリンの一生と同じく皇帝の血を引く者。高級から追い出した赤子のことが心配でたびたびお父様の手引きで顔を出していたそうですよ。
死水と名付けました。
死水。死の一族にふさわしい名だ。
上級妃のシェンメイを可視していただけませんか。
お母様は可視されたのですよ。
Damn, she's just dropping all of this on her right now.
ずっとお父様はお母様のためにやってきたのに、
Yeah.
破滅しかない最後だと分かっていたのに。お父様の最後はいかがでしたか。
笑いながら言ったよ。
あの男は自分の権力が欲しかっただけ。
No.
私をめとったのも当主と
Now I
して
feel
の座を
bad
保
for
持したかったからよ。
苦言を呈するまともな者は追い出され、残るは海ばかり。お父様は自ら国賊を演じることで死の一族の海もろとも。
Wow.
話が本当ならば、高級の拡張と国庫の横領は分けて考えるべきだった。師匠は国の腐敗を一手に集める必要悪を演じていた。報われない。それが事実だという証拠はあるのか。
宮廷内に溜まった海はこれでだいぶ処分できたでしょう。それで傾く国ならいっそない方がいい。
お前はあの男と一緒にずっと私を騙していたのか。
私はお母様の言う通りにやってきただけ。還元を吐くアホばかりを囲って金軍に勝て
I
る。
also feel like Shisho didn't know that she was scheming as well, because he seemed quite surprised that she would even speak out last week.
そのために
No.
これを作らせたのではないか。
来てください。
Oh my
うる
god.
さい。
Bro, she's cold. I'm not gonna lie.
何がおかしい。
だってお母さんまるで小物なんですもの。
Oh, why do I feel like Suire stepped in front of her? I certainly hope it wasn't Jinshi, but I also...
中に詰め物をしていたのか。
Oh my
新型は
goodness.
構造が複雑なんです。
伝えたいことがあったのだろ
顔だけのバカなら本当に良かったの。
No.
ずっとお母様を待ち続けていたんですよ。
No, she's literally
涙
the
をこぼしてく
worst.
れたら私だって
う。神明は自分をコケにし続けた国を滅ぼしたかった。
Hmm.
師匠は神明のために何でもしたが、
贅沢を言うようですが、二つ願い
Two
を
is a
聞いて
lot.
いただけますか。
Who is a lot in your position?
ではこれを。 そこに書いてあるのは今後この国に起こりうることです。一族でまともな思考の者は母に追放され名を捨てております。姉もまた同じようなもの。その者たちは一度死んだ者として見
Oh
逃してい
yes,
ただけ
do
ませんで
it.
しょうか。
努力する。
Okay, that's nice.
一度死んだ者は見逃してくださるのです。
Wow, that's so nice. He's so reasonable.
もう一つの願いを。
Hmm? On his face for
ありが
what?
とうございます。お母様、これが私にできる精一杯なんで。
Bazin's gonna lose his mind when he sees that, by the way. Like, even if it's just a scratch, he's gonna freak out. No, is she about to die? Don't do this. Don't do this to me. Right, right. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, my. I just actually do love her character, so this makes me so sad. But, like, I guess what else is gonna happen, you know?
世紀の悪女も一世一代の舞台。壊すことなんてできない。
Maybe she'll take, like, the resurrection thing. I don't know if that works if you have been shot, but... No, not Suire.
それがローランを見た際。
Well, wait, that was the last he ever saw of her? Does that mean she got away? I don't know how she would survive that, though, but...
そういえばここ数日まともに寝てどこにいる。
あまり近づかない方が。
なぜこんなところで眠っている。
どうしてもと頼み込まれたら何も言えないでしょう。
随分ひどい姿だな。俺の顔に傷がついたことで部下が罰を受けるのは分か
Oh
っていた。
no.
それなのにローランの願いを受け入れてしまった。
Damn.
俺のことはいい。俺がいなければこんな目には。
No, no. Let's not do that.
何をやっているのでしょうか、jinshi様。
Mm. There's definitely a lot to unpack in that episode and a lot that I'm looking forward to hoping gets wrapped up next week. Number one, I just want to acknowledge how well Jinshi did for somebody who didn't want to step into the role of Moon Prince and Kazugetsu and really take on that role. He did it with such like empathy and grace and was so poised and like just leading the front line. The only scratch he got was because he allowed it to happen by Shisui. And so I just think about how well that went. And obviously that's a lot of credit due to Lakan and Lahan as well. But just the way he carried himself, especially in those moments with Shenmei and Shisui, were so impressive. I just like how he can view everything within the context of the story, right? And how these people are feeling and what they might be thinking and what's motivating them versus just looking at them as like enemies and people who are rebelling and need to be killed or punished. This episode almost single-handedly changed my entire opinion about Shisho. I mean, I think we kind of knew that there was more to him than just this traitor in the palace, but at the same time, seeing how like devoted until the very end he was to Shenmei, and even like seeing her in his dying moments. At first, I wasn't even sure which one it was, but definitely Shenmei, and all of the things that he went through for her, like not giving up when she went to the Rear Palace, striking a deal with the Rear Palace to essentially save her family's business and the Shi clan's, you know, main trade. And then on top of that, in return, marrying someone, having a daughter, and then raising that person, all so he could essentially get Shenmei released. It makes the last few episodes even more heartbreaking, where he is seeing this person that he loves so deeply just turn to debauchery and, you know, vitriol and just very, I don't know, dark and sinister actions. And so I think what's so sad about it is that he never stopped loving her. He never stopped doing everything he can for her, including this entire plot against the palace, knowing that he was gonna die, right? Knowing that a lot of people he cared about and loved could potentially die as well. In the end, I am glad that he chose to go along with Shisui's plan and to give at least his final moments to support her in that. I think the death of Shenmei was so well orchestrated because she is just this evil person. All of the terrible things that she's done up until this point, the way that she views and treated Shisho, and her jump at power, not realizing that it was a front and she ultimately was a hostage. I think despite the hardships she faced in the Rear Palace, she is just a bad person. And so it was satisfying to see Lolan, Shisui, tell the whole story, like reveal all that information that basically unraveled Shenmei's understanding of her entire situation. Like all of these life experiences that she's based her actions and her beliefs on were really a lie. And she gave up the only thing in her life that was really true, which was Shisho's love for her. And so I think it was so satisfying and well narrated by Shisui in terms of how she delivered that story and how it was hitting Shenmei in just the right ways. And then knowing that her mother would literally grab a gun and turn it on her in the end, just for it to backfire and kill her, I think really demonstrates how deep an understanding Shisui has of not only what happened in the past, but also of the inclinations of her mother. And again, I was so impressed with Jinshi in this moment, because as Shisui is going on and on about how she brought Jinshi here because he resembles the person that Shenmei resents the absolute most, right? Which is the former emperor, for not coming to visit her, not making her this like really high concubine who gave him an heir and all of this stuff. Like Jinshi looks just like him, and I think in a lot of past situations that would have really bothered Jinshi and maybe affected his ability to do his job. But I think because he came there and stepped into that role for Maomao and for the nation, I think for him it just slid off, right? Like he even at one point says like the former emperor was a fool, right? And it doesn't go deeper than that. It just goes to the fact of like Jinshi is so good at understanding people's motivations and how they feel and thinking about what decisions they're going to make based on those feelings and based on those perceptions and everyone's separate, individual, unique perspectives. And you see in that moment, he says, if I would have separated the expansion of the Rear Palace with what was happening here, the embezzlement and everything that was happening with this uprising, then he could have potentially saved Shisho in a way that gave him a lot of credit for what he was doing. The Lolan moment was so heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time, right? Because she's gone through this whole plot and plan, and she's had to carry so much internally and do so much work, right, to get here. And so the dance, which I think was the same dance that Maomao did on the rooftop, but ultimately doing that for the person that had passed. I think Maomao had done it for the concubine that had ultimately died in the river, and she was doing it for, I would assume, her father and her mother. And it was just so beautiful. And even though it was incredibly sad and like Suire coming to grab her hand and not being able to and just seeing the tears, I still think it was such a beautiful moment. I'm kind of assuming that because they didn't retrieve her body, that means she is gone. I don't know if she died. I don't know if she's still alive. But Jinshi kind of saying that was the last time I ever saw Lolan kind of makes me think that she was able to get away. We might not really see her in this story again, because it also ties back to her first favor being that anyone who was logical enough to separate themselves from Shenmei in this plan has adopted a new identity and essentially killed off their connection to the Shi clan, and so therefore should be able to live a life, right, that is not plagued by this connection, this rebellion. And Jinshi agrees to that, which I think again is just points to how empathetic and understanding he is, and honestly how perfect he is for the role of Moon Prince. And so I wonder if in a way she considered, if she were to get away, would she be able to live a life separated from the Shi clan, but able to live a life of some value? And maybe she did, right? And based on Jinshi's promise to let the ones who have previously died in some way live, she might be included in that. So, and then of course the end of the episode with Maomao and Jinshi. It is interesting that she had requested to sleep with the children of the Shi clan, and I wonder again if that has anything to do with what Shisui had essentially entrusted her to do, and maybe it is just ensuring that they get to rest peacefully and the bodies are treated with care, and that might be the request, right? And I don't know what the bruise on her neck is. I'm interested to find out. I don't know, it could have something to do with whatever she was doing with the children, but I don't remember seeing that prior, and I can't remember a moment where she would have gotten that bruise. So I too am interested in that, just like Jinshi is. But I think the warning of Jinshi not getting too close, obviously we established before he went in to raid the stronghold that things have changed, right? Like not only is he no longer Jinshi the eunuch, his identity is now for all intents and purposes public as the Moon Prince and as Kazugetsu. Her status is also kind of changed, which someone mentioned after one of the episodes and I thought was a great point, is that it's not just about a servant and the Moon Prince, it's now about the daughter of Lakan, right? There's just a lot of questions, there's just a lot of changes in what their statuses are, and I don't know how this will affect Maomao's life after this and her decision not to have that connection to the Law clan. I wonder if that will still stand if Lakan has been so public about his daughter being there, right? And I think even Lee Haku was like, wait, you're this guy's daughter? And she's like, look, don't remind me. But I think it changes things. And so I think that was kind of Gaoshin's warning or caution before Jinshi went in to see her. Obviously, he's going to ignore any advice to not go see her. And there was just that very nice soft moment at the end. They kind of teased in the first look for next week a potential near kiss. I'm not going to get too excited because I just know how the show is. It is like taking slow burn to the next level, but I do wonder what will come out of this. Obviously they haven't had a chance to talk. They had a very brief interaction when he found her, and then he had other things that he had to attend to, but I would love to kind of hear more about this. Obviously we saw him blame himself a little bit for her being in this position, which again is not untrue, but I don't think he should necessarily blame himself. I think he did the best he could, and if it wasn't for him, I don't think she would be as safe and sound. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to stick around, go ahead and hit subscribe. The uncut version of this reaction is over on Patreon, so I'll put that link in the description box below if you want to check that out. And I'll see you guys next week for the finale of season 2 of Apothecary Diaries. Bye.